Hey everyone, Pat Armstrong here with the latest edition of Increase, the lifestyle vlog for men and the women who love them. I know it's been a while since I put a video out, and there's been all kinds of different reasons for that we won't get into, but I'll tell you one of the main reasons is because of the video I wanted to shoot today. I wasn't sure how to go about doing this. What I decided to do is just go ahead and shoot it and then edit it and see what happens. But today what I've done is I've put together a video about how to dress appropriately, and for men. Ladies, that's not something that I'm going to try to tackle for you. That would be something for one of the ladies to do. I could give you my opinions of what I feel like is appropriate or not, but again, that's not a video that I feel comfortable putting together. But for the men, I feel like we've just gotten too casual in the way that we dress today. And guys, I'm telling you, the ladies want to see you dressed up. Now, when I say dressed up, I'm not talking about always having to wear a coat and tie. But what they would like to see is some of you, no, I should say all of you, dressed in something other than your Nike t-shirt and Nike shorts. Because I feel like that is just something that the guys just go to. And again, if you're just lounging around the house or you're heading to and from the gym or whatever, that's very appropriate. But just for your everyday wear, that's just not appropriate, I don't feel. But anyway, so I just shot a video today just showing you what I do. I dress according to the occasion, and I dress according to the temperature for the most part. And so what I did, I just showed you some different outfits that I would wear, starting from temperatures being in the 30s, going all the way up into the 90s. And so hopefully you can find something there that you can use. Also, I want to I've talked about this before, but men, I really want to suggest that you get a copy of this book. This was actually put out by Nordstrom's, and it's the Nordstrom's Guide to Men's Everyday Dressing. And so it covers everything from your formal occasions, men, to the business, what you should wear when you're in the office, what you should wear in the evenings if you're going out, what you should wear when you're traveling, what you should wear when you're just casual. And so if you do not have a copy of this book, I greatly recommend that you get a copy of this. You can find this on Amazon, you can find it on eBay, you can find it all kinds of different places, and it's not real expensive. But if you've just kind of wondered about that, what's appropriate to wear, then I recommend that you get this book. Also, one thing I want to mention too, as most of you know, I got to have some kind of reference in my videos to the Bible. And the Bible, believe it or not, does talk about the things that we wear and what's appropriate. When you look at the Bible and it talks about dress, it likes to use the word modest. Now, when we think of that word modest today, most of the time, at least in my mind, and I think in most other people's minds, we think of things that if someone's immodest, maybe they're dressed risque. Maybe I think a lot of times we refer to that also more regarding the ladies than we do the men, because maybe we feel like they're showing too much skin or something like that. But the word in the Bible, when it uses the word modest, actually talks about what is appropriate. That's what that word modest, and even in our society today, a lot of times we don't use the word modest or immodest. We might just say something is inappropriate. And that is what that word means, whether it's appropriate or not appropriate. So I think in this video you're going to find, we're going to talk about modesty, but not in the sense of risque or showing too much skin, but again, of things that are not appropriate or things that might be appropriate. So I hope you I hope you enjoy this video and find it informative. And so stick around and see what you think. So today, I feel like we live in a world, when it comes to our dress, basically anything goes. So in my opinion, I think there's 4 things that we should consider whenever we dress. The first thing that we should consider when we dress is the occasion. Is what we are wearing appropriate for the occasion? Now, what you see me in today, this is what I would typically wear to work. Either a suit with a tie, or at least a blazer or sport coat with a tie. Because of the business I'm in, this is my regular wardrobe. So this would be appropriate for the occasion. The second thing I think you need to consider is the style. Now, that depends on the person. I think personally that you need to stick with something that is conservative and something that will actually stand the test of time. A suit like this is very conservative, and again, if it's taken care of, is something that you could actually wear 10 years from now and still be in style. The third thing that you need to consider in the way you dress is comfort. And now the problem that I find with this is most people put comfort at the top of the list instead of the occasion. And I think for a lot of times that causes problems because people are inappropriately dressed for the occasion at hand. And then the fourth thing you need to consider is the weather. And so when I put my wardrobe together, again, on a very consistent basis because of what I do and where I work, this is my wardrobe, my uniform, if you will. So about the only thing that I can do differently with this is take my jacket off, or maybe add a vest, add a sweater, or something like that. But I have to stay dressed up because of the type of business that I'm in. But on a daily basis, even including the stuff that I wear on a daily basis, I consider the weather. So over the next few moments in this video, I'm going to show you how I dress based on, yes, the occasion, based on style, based on comfort, but mostly based on the weather. And with that in mind, basically the temperature. Now, for the sake of this video, most of the things I'm going to show you today are going to be more casual than what I'm going to wear on a daily basis because, again, I pretty much have a set uniform. Not that I wear the same suit or sport coat every day, but I have to wear a suit and or a sport coat and a tie every day. So, but I want to show you things that are going to be more appropriate than wearing a suit or a sport coat and a tie. So now, most activities that you go to, you really can basically say business casual would be appropriate. That way, you're not overdressed, but you're not underdressed. Now again, there are some strict rules regarding certain types of activities when it says black tie or black tie optional, or a lot of times when it's a formal event, you definitely have to dress more for the occasion. But most other things you can get by with what we call a business casual look. And most of the time that is a collared shirt with either a sweater or a jacket of some kind and a pair of trousers. And now we call these khakis, but really the pants that we refer to as khakis are chinos. Khaki is actually a color. So, but to wear something like that to where you're still somewhat dressy, but you're also casual. And for the sake of the video as well, we're going to start on the lower end of the temperature and then work our way up. Being here in West Georgia, one of the reasons why I love to live in this area is that the weather most of the time is very mild. So even in the winter time, the temperatures do get down during the daytime into the 30s and at night even into the teens. But it's not like some of the other areas, whether it be up north, out in the Midwest or whatever, where that kind of weather lasts for a long time. Here in Georgia, we can have great, nice, warm weather into October and November. In fact, very rarely do we wear winter clothes for Thanksgiving. We're out playing volleyball usually with a high temperature somewhere in the 60s. And then come Christmas time, it might be in the 40s and 50s. When we get into January, February, the temperatures do again start to dip down. So it is appropriate to wear things when the temperatures get down into the 30s. Well, the thing is to keep in mind when the temperatures do drop is to wear layers. And as you see what I'm wearing here now, I've got this nice pea coat, and underneath of the pea coat I've got a sweater, and then under that sweater I've got a nice button-down collared shirt. Now, I am truly appropriately dressed to go anywhere. Whether you're going to go to work in some cases, whether you're going to even attend a wedding or a funeral, or even if you were just going out for the day. This is something that you could get by with because, again, you're not dressy, but you're still dressed up enough with the sweater and the button-down shirt and the chinos, and that you could go ahead and, again, attend a semi-formal event, but also you're not overdressed for something that's more casual. And if the temperature starts to rise, you can actually don the jacket and you still are covered with the sweater. And if you feel like the sweater alone is not enough, what you can do is you can actually take the sweater off and then put the coat back on. Now again, this is my opinion and this is how I dress when the temperatures get down into the 30s. Now if it gets colder than that, obviously I'm going to have more than just the coat. I'm going to don a scarf, I'm going to put on some other things, gloves as well. But when the temperatures get down into the 30s, for me, this is how I'm going to dress. Now one of the things you're also going to see with what I show you today is that most of the things that I wear are going to lean a little bit more to the dressy side. And the reason for that, again, is I believe that we have just gotten too casual. Now, I don't think we need to go back to the 60s and the 50s and the 40s where men need to wear a coat and tie all the time to every occasion. I don't believe that's the case at all. But I think a lot of times we just dress too casually. We like to laugh when we look at the pictures and the videos of the people who go to Walmart in their loungewear. But for me, I don't know that it's really any different for a woman that's there at Walmart in her lounge pants than a man that goes there and always wearing his Nike t-shirt and shorts. I feel like that's very inappropriate. Now again, if you're just coming or going to the gym or you're just lounging around the house, then that's okay. But that be your wardrobe all the time, I think is a little ridiculous. Again, that's just my opinion. And I think we need to elevate the look a little bit. In fact, for many of you, if you can remember back with me, back in the 80s, ZZ Top even sang a song about that there is something, according to the ladies, there's something about a sharp-dressed man. And so, again, you're going to find with me, I'm going to lean a little bit more to be a little bit more dressy than to be too casual. Now, again, it doesn't mean I don't wear casual, and you'll see as we go on in the video. So now what we've done is we've gone to the temperature, and we've brought it up about 10 degrees. So we're still cool. It's only in the 40s, but I definitely, because I have a tendency to get a little warm, and so I definitely will get rid of the sweater. Now, what I might do, though, again, depending on the occasion, I might get rid of the collared shirt and wear the sweater without the shirt and wear that as my top instead. But one thing you notice also that I've changed my outerwear. Now, that pea coat that I had on is very warm and is very appropriate for when the temperatures get down to the freezing area and below, especially with the sweater and everything I had on as well. But what I've done, since it's gotten a little bit warmer, I've donned this leather jacket. I've gotten rid of the sweater, put on the leather jacket. Even though it's still going to keep me very warm, it's not as warm as that wool pea coat. And again, depending on the occasion that may be going on, I still have on my chinos, but if it's just a casual day, what I would probably do rather than have the chinos on is I would put on a pair of jeans and to go out and do whatever I have going on today. Now again, jeans are one of those things that you can dress them up and be very dressy in a pair of jeans, but a lot of times, especially again in our society today where our jeans have been distressed to the point where there's holes in them and things like that, that's not appropriate, I don't feel. But if you've got a nice pair of dark wash jeans or jeans that are in good shape that you want to wear when you're out and about, I think that's appropriate as well. So again, if you were to see me out and about and the temperatures are somewhere between 50 and 40 degrees, more than likely something like this is what you would see me wearing. All right, so the temperature's gotten a little higher. Now the high temperature today here in West Georgia is going to be in the 50s. And so I dress it accordingly to, again, the occasion and mostly the temperature. And now, again, I don't want you to misunderstand and think that I go through so many wardrobe changes in a day. I don't do that. I actually plan the day either the night before or the first thing in the morning, and I get on my phone and look at the weather for the day, and I see what the high temperature is going to be, and so then I dress accordingly. Also, in my closet, I have things in somewhat of an order in a rotation, and so that way also, I'm not one of those guys that I just pull out my favorite things and I don't ever, everything I have, I wear, because I put it on a rotation and I make sure that it is worn. Now, as time goes on and things wear out, or in my case, I've lost some weight, and so I got some things that are really too big for me, and I pull them out about twice a year, and I get rid of those things. But so in this look here, like I said, the temperatures now are somewhere in the high is going to be somewhere in the 50s. And so what I've done is I still have a sweater, but what I've done under the sweater is I have put an undershirt. Now, I know some people don't like to wear undershirts, but I'll tell you the reason why I do for most of my shirts is because, first of all, for your sweaters and your shirt, it offers protection. So if you are wearing a sweater or a button-down shirt and you sweat, then a lot of time, in fact, you'll see this with some people, it'll actually be stains under their armpits. Well, that's not due to their hygiene. What that's due to is the chemicals that are in the antiperspirant. When it mixes with your sweat, it stains your clothes. So for that reason, to protect my outerwear, my shirts and my sweaters and things, I will wear an undershirt. Now, I don't always wear a crew neck undershirt. A lot of times, depending on what else I'm wearing, I might wear a V-neck undershirt so you can't see it. But I do that for protection. The other thing is, again, it's for layering, for the temperature. 50 degrees for some people isn't very cold. For other people like me, it's still kind of cool, especially if you get some wind out there. And so I will usually layer with some kind of an undershirt, with a sweater or a shirt, and then I will put on a jacket. Now this again is another leather jacket. It's a lightweight leather jacket that basically would protect from the temperatures and also the wind. Now I kind of get teased about this a little bit because yes, this is a motorcycle jacket that I found at Burlington many years ago. I do not ride a motorcycle. I am not a motorcycle kind of guy, but when I found this jacket and I put it on and I saw the look in my wife's eyes, I knew I had to have this jacket. And I do get a lot of compliments on this, but again, it's just another way that you can dress up a casual outfit by having a nice leather jacket. And notice, I did change. I've got on a pair of jeans as well. So why did I do that? Because I'm thinking and planning ahead according to the occasion. So again, if today was going to be a casual day at home for me, this is the way that I would normally dress. And even if I had to run out to the store or something came up that wasn't a formal event, but something I could attend or that I needed to attend to, then I could go out because again, I'm appropriately dressed for the occasion and also for the weather. Now, as we get into the spring of the year or the fall of the year and the temperatures either rise or begin to fall into the 60s, then that again changes what I do on my outerwear. Now again, underneath still, I'm pretty much wearing the same thing. I've got my sweater with my crew neck t-shirt, my jeans, and this is really pretty typical of what I'm going to wear most of the time living here in West Georgia as far as underneath. Again, if the temperatures get down to the 30s, then I will probably put on another layer between the shirt, the undershirt, and the sweater, and then put on a heavier jacket. But if we're into the springtime, as we are now here in West Georgia, and the temperatures start to, and the high temperature is going to be somewhere between 60 and 65, I may, along with the long sleeve sweater, which by the way, very lightweight sweater, it's not a wool sweater, it's a very lightweight a cotton sweater here. So along with that, I might put on something like this vest if it's in the lower 60s. Just something, again, just a layer. And then as the day went on, if I felt like I was a little bit warm in this as we start climbing into the upper 60s, and this would be, again, typically what I would wear is something like this, either a lightweight sweater with an undershirt, or I would wear a long sleeve button up. And then if I felt like as the temperatures got higher into the 60s, with my button up, I would actually roll up the sleeves just like I do on this sweater, and that would give me, more comfort. But again, I'm dressed appropriately to go outside if we had some kind of an activity going on. That, again, I'm casual, but I'm also somewhat dressy. If I needed to dress it up a little bit more, I might take the sweater off and put on a collared shirt. Again, if I'm going to wear it with an open collar, then I would make sure to wear a V-neck undershirt so you're not seeing the undershirt underneath. Now again, also depending on the formality of the event, I might change out of my jeans and go back into a pair of chinos or a pair of dress slacks. And then of course, if it's very formal, then I would have to go back to putting a tie and a coat and all of that on. So again, you got to keep those things in mind on a daily basis. What's the weather like, and then what is the formality of the event. Now again, typical day in West Georgia for me, if the temperature is in the 60s, this is probably the way you're going to find me. Okay, so today, actually literally today in West Georgia, the temperature is supposed to be somewhere in the mid 70s. So today is March the 25th, I believe. And so again, as I mentioned before, that's not unnecessarily unusual, or that's not unusual for the weather this time of year. So it actually could be about 10 degrees cooler than what it is today. But yeah, sometimes late March we can get some really great temperatures, some great weather as we have today. So again, a day is supposed to be somewhere in the mid 70s, and then I believe tomorrow is actually supposed to be in the low 80s. And so I mean that's one, again, like I said, one of the reasons why I really like living here in West Georgia, because that's not unusual for the weather to be that way. Now it does get warm in the summertime, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but it's not like when I lived out in Kansas. You talk about some hot summers. All right, so with the temperatures being in the 70s, again, this is something that you might typically see me wear. I've switched from a long sleeve shirt to a short sleeve pullover shirt, or I would have a short sleeve button-up shirt, but I'm still wearing long pants. I have not made that transition. Now, a lot of people will. A lot of people make the transition when the temperature gets in the 60s to wearing shorts. And I feel like that's a little extreme, but again, this is me, and you do what you want to do, but then I will wait until the temperatures actually get into the 80s before I will actually put on a pair of shorts. But for me, again, it is about occasion and comfort and the weather, but I feel like something like this is more suited to the occasion than wearing, again, just depending on what the situation is. But I might put on a polo shirt like this, or a button-up short sleeve shirt like this, or if you're, some guys are apt to as well. If you still want to wear the long sleeve shirt and just keep the sleeves rolled up, that would be fine too. And but again, so as the temperatures get into the 70s, again, if you were to see me, you might see me wearing something more like this. Okay, so now the temperatures have climbed into the 80s, and now it's more, you hate to say it, but it leans a little bit more toward comfort than it does the occasion. And I say that just for the fact that at this point, a lot of your occasions are going to be outside, and so it's going to be more appropriate to dress for that. Now again, there are still some things that a wedding and a graveside, different things like that, it's not appropriate to wear a pair of shorts. It's not appropriate just really to wear a collared pullover shirt for something like that. It's something that you really have to consider the occasion, consider the situation, and then dress appropriately. But again, if this is just a casual day that you're going to be out running errands, going to the store, doing different activities with the family, going to the golf course, whatever, this would be something that would be more appropriate. Again, you've got a nice short sleeve polo or button-up shirt with a pair of shorts. You can't really see, but I am actually wearing shorts. Yes, I do have legs there. And so again, this would actually be me. Again, if you were to see me here, any place really, that the temperature is going to be in the 80s. I'm going to dress like this. The only thing I might be different, I might have on a thinner shirt that would be like a Henley. If you don't know what a Henley is, basically it's a polo shirt that does not have the collar, but it still has 2 or 3 buttons here. And so something like that would be appropriate, I feel like, as well. And again, this is all me and this is all my opinion, but I'm just sharing with you what I would typically do, just depending on what the occasion is and what the temperature is. So now the temperatures here in West Georgia have gotten up into the 90s. And so if you were to see Pat, this is basically what you would see. He would be in a t-shirt and a pair of shorts. And I don't have any shoes on, but right now I'd have on just probably a pair of some loafers. I don't do flip-flops a lot unless I'm going down to the pool or something like that. But again, at this point, we're talking comfort. And now the shorts, again, that's really up to you. The ones I have on here, obviously, is pretty baggy shorts, and I've got all kinds of different shorts, but for the sake of the video, I just basically kept the same ones on. But again, at this point, it's comfort. And again, you've got to consider occasion, but most people, when they plan things in the summertime, especially here in West Georgia, they know that typically this is going to be the attire for a lot of people. And so now, let me just say this too. I feel like, again, there are some occasions that even on warm, very warm days, that this is not appropriate. For me personally, I don't think this is appropriate for church, though a lot of people would not have a problem going to church like this. And but for me, I feel like that's one of those occasions that you need to be dressed up a little bit more. Again, depending on the wedding, if it's a beach wedding or something like that, a tropical wedding to where this is the way everybody is dressing for it, then again, it's appropriate. Otherwise, if it's not that type of a wedding, but it happens to be in the summertime when the weather's warm, then it's still right to wear, even in some occasions, a coat and tie. So you just got to keep those things in mind. The thing about it, once it's over with, then yeah, you can shed the tie, shed the coat, and you know, whatever, and that's fine. But you got to keep in mind what is appropriate for the occasion. So now, if you were to see me in West Georgia, or again, anywhere where the temperatures are going to be somewhere in the 90s, this is the way, again, that more than likely you're going to see me. The only difference might be is if it's got upwards to 100 degrees, then the sleeves might be off. Then I might be in a sleeveless, but typically I don't do that unless I'm out running or doing a workout or maybe working in the yard or something like that. But again, this is just me, and I wanted to share this is the video that I've been contemplating doing and not sure how to do it for a long time. But I thought, you know, what the heck, we'll just put it out there. But this is the way I dress, even when I dress casually, because again, it's a little bit more dressy than what you're going to find typically out there. You're going to see with me that I don't do a lot of logo shirts. I don't do a lot of things like that. I'm not saying I don't have any, but I'm not, you know, I try to dress it up a little bit more when I wear the t-shirts. I like to wear a Henley because the buttons just give it more of a dressy look. That doesn't mean I don't wear t-shirts that don't have buttons, you know, but I like to just dress it up a little bit more because I think people appreciate that, and to dress according to the occasion. I will say this, that now part of it probably due to the fact that most of their lives I've been in a position where I've had to dress up, but both of my girls have expressed that they want to see their men in a suit. And so, guys, I'm telling you, the ladies want to see you dressed up. Now, they might tell you when you're just around in your radio blue jeans and your t-shirt or radio shorts or your loungewear and that's all you wear all the time, and they may say they don't care. That is not true. Now, they don't care occasionally that you wear those things, but they would like to see you step it up a little bit. So I hope you have found this video informative. I hope I've maybe given you some ideas of things that you can do. Again, this is me. This is my opinion. This is what I do. You don't have to, but I hope there's been something in here that you can use. And if you liked this video and found it informative, I hope that you will also give me a thumbs up. And then if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and maybe pass this on to someone else that might be able to get something from it. But until then, I will see you in the next video.